that's grandiose. I just don't think it's going to happen because the people will rebel, and that will be a tremendous boost to the underground economy. You know, they're just not going to do it. Now, I think the underground economy is growing all the time. Our own government does it to us. Our own local governments do these things to us. There's too much regulation, too much taxation, too much abuse of our freedoms, and people are so sick and tired of it. If all of a sudden they see on some bill someplace that their taxes are going up to pay for world government, it's just going to incense them, and survival comes from ignoring the burden of big government. And when the government system breaks down, I believe that breaking down comes when the dollar quits functioning, and that's still a couple of years off. But when it comes, people have to survive, and they're going to survive without begging and pleading and bowing to the federal government or the United Nations.
And meanwhile, Congressman, the USA Today reports $77,000 a year on average for government employees. They're all getting big pay increases. There are more police out writing tickets. Government's growing like a cancer and celebrating the fact that it's taken control of the economy. I want to just get a final comment on the ClimateGate emails where they're hiding the decline, the head Climate Research Center in collusion to defraud the public. Are you calling for a congressional investigation as Senator Inhofe is?
Well, I would certainly support it. I haven't particularly done this. Sometimes investigations are used to cover up things, and I don't get all that excited about them getting to the source of it. The source, the answers for this and the source will be outside of Washington. Washington is not going to very often give you the truth. If we have a chance to do that, fine and dandy. But since some of this stuff is overseas, there's a limit to finding out, all the information that you have to have. But we've benefited tremendously by this exposure. So it wasn't the government that told us what was going on. And now this information is out, and the numbers are shifting. People are now much more reluctant to go along with some of this. So the resistance is building. So we're already benefiting by it.
Yes, and now more fraud is pouring out of universities globally. They're being caught, and more whistleblowers are coming forward. On the subject of the Peace Prize, Obama has had 2 big troop surges now in Afghanistan, keeping the troops in Iraq, going back on his promise there. Your take, Congressman Ron Paul, on Obama. I mean, this is Orwellian. War is now peace. Perhaps we should give Genghis Khan a Nobel Peace Prize posthumously.
Yeah, and one part of that speech that really annoyed me was that he described it as being a just war, harping back to the Christian just war theory. And for him to try to claim that he's following just war theory, which was originally Christian-oriented, is so far removed from reality. And, of course, he claims as one of his heroes is Gandhi, who really believed in peace. And so it is so hypocritical. But the fact that the American people don't seem to be catching on for this, unfortunately, for a while they're going to support more troops over there, although our numbers are starting to build, and we're doing more right now here in the Congress to try to call more attention to this. Kucinich and a few of us have introduced legislation that will challenge his whole effort over there, including the Bush effort under the War Powers Resolution, because even though he got some authority after 9/11, it wasn't the kind of authority that they have been using for these 8 years to occupy and take over the whole government and the whole country.
Absolutely, Congressman. As you know, the polls show the war is at an all-time unpopularity level. And so certainly people are waking up to that. And this is really blown up in their face, giving him a peace prize. Shifting gears into government-run health care, are we in danger of this power grab taking place?
Yeah, that one, I'm always looking for a place for optimism. I guess I'm less optimistic about anything decent coming out of the health care. I think it's going to get worse. The people in this country accept incrementalism. Medical care is seen somewhat different. They don't see that the same principles of liberty apply to medical care as they do to their Second Amendment and their First Amendment rights.
So, you think health care is going to pass as things stand right now?
Yeah, to some degree. Whether they keep all this on, and they're not going to get total control, but they're going to have more control the quality of health care is going to down.
$250,000 fines, 5 years in prison, $41 billion cut to Medicare. I mean, how is that liberal?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And then the other big thing that I imagine by the time the dust settles, they will undermine the ability to get a medical savings account. Because right now, if you really want to take care of yourself, you can go out and get a medical savings account, pay for all your local bills and your doctor bills, and put money in the savings account and get a tax benefit from this. If no matter what they did, if that was available to the people where they had the chance to just walk away from the system, but this crowd up here now is not interested in protecting your right to...
They want control over people, don't they?
Yeah, it's the same way, Medicare, even though those medical savings accounts are a good idea, if you're 65 or over and you're in Medicare, you don't have a choice of that. So they started by mandating everybody be in it because they need your money, and there's going to be a lot more of that. So I can't find room for optimism about what's happening in the medical care movement.
Well, that is devastating news from one of the only medical doctors in Congress and an economist, award-winning Congressman Ron Paul, telling us that it looks like it's going to pass. Folks, you better do whatever you can to stop this and let Harry Reid and others know they're not going to get reelected if they do this. In closing, Congressman, some good news. You got 311 sponsors. It's passed out of committee. Audit the Fed. The Fed's admitted you audit us, you'll destroy us. In the last 3 minutes we've got left, sir, auditing the Fed. Give us a report on that.
Okay, I think most know that last week it was put into a bank regulation bill, which is a monster of a bill. When it came out of the committee, I voted against the bill because I don't vote for a few good things when there's a lot of bad things in it. But my amendment won by 42 to 26, which was a major victory. It's on the House floor at this moment. It will be voted on at the end of the day. And the auditing provision was in both the Republican version and the Democratic version. The Democratic version will pass, and the auditing provision will be in there. The real work needs to be done in the Senate. So if anybody knows whether where their senator stands, try to urge the senators to get on that same bill. I think it's 604, and there's 30 in over there. There's been several senators that have put a hold on Bernanke's reappointment unless they have a vote on 1207, the auditing bill, in the Senate.
So, sir, this is a massive victory. I mean, today it looks like they're going to probably pass it in the House. It'll go to the Senate, and then the fight's in the Senate. This is incredible news. Yeah,
it's big. We have no idea, exactly what will happen. There'll be a lot more resistance in the Senate, and the Fed still has time to do all that they do. But nevertheless, I think you're correct as describing this a major victory for the people. The grassroots got this done. I didn't twist arms. I have no clout up here in that sense. But we have 313 on there, all the Republicans and a lot of Democrats. So it's a really great testament to what can happen when the people come together, because this is not a conservative Republican bill. I mean, it's liberals and populists and libertarians and constitutionalists have all come around to believing enough is enough, and the Fed is too big and too secret. And we finally identified it as the real shadow government instead of Republican and Democrat puppets. You've been working for close to 30 years for this. Even if we don't have victory this year, we're a hair away. It'll be assured next year as the crisis accelerates. Do you agree with that? Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to ever. If they squelch us, it'll just make it a bigger issue. And the problems are going to get worse, and they will know where to look, and they have to look to the Federal Reserve System to find a real source of our problems. Well, Congressman, I salute you. Your book is a bestseller in the Fed and bookstores and at Amazon.com. Go to CampaignForLiberty.com. Go to all the great sites of Ron Paul. Support him. Thank him for running for president a few years ago. That really helped focus this coalition for liberty and freedom. And I know I'll talk to you again early next year, Congressman, with your once-a-month check-in with us. Thank you so much. And get out there and cast that vote for the bill you wrote and introduced. We salute you, and what a great Christmas gift, sir, you've given us. Thank you. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much, Congressman Ron Paul. Absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, world government's coming in. But the war's on. We're fighting back. Our numbers are growing. We're having victories. We're learning we can stand up against bullies. Like when you finally go ahead and punch that bully in the nose, his nose breaks, he hits the ground. We're on the march. The empire's on the run.
Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.